Hi, it's Lavinia Masters here. I apologize. My camera is acting up on my laptop. I haven't used my laptop in about a year, but I wanted to come on today. I'm sorry. I don't want to be 3D in your face. If I can step back, maybe I can still read from here. I saw a movie yesterday. I hadn't seen it since I was a little girl. And I ran across this movie because I had watched an excerpt of it that Snoop Dogg had on his Instagram. And it was the movie called Black Girl 1970. It came out in 1972. When I watched this movie, I'm not going to lie, it took me back to my childhood. It brought up a lot of things that happened in our culture as Black people, Black girls especially, raised by Black single mothers. And when you watch this movie, sometimes it can seem outlandish, sometimes it can seem a bit much, but the reality of it is that this is what happens a lot of times in our African American homes, our Black homes. This is our culture. This is how we are raised. And watching this movie, I realized, one of the things that I realized is that we are almost destined to be raised in traumatic experiences. So it's almost like trauma is our chemical makeup as Black people. Not all Black people are raised this way. Not all have these experiences, but everybody has their own traumatic experiences that they deal with. But most of ours for our culture is abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental, emotional, financial abuse, poverty, discrimination, segregation, struggles, just struggles. And that's just the reality of it. There's no if, and, buts about it. Thank God things have changed a lot. Hopefully changing for the better. But sometimes if we're not careful, we can see where history repeats or is going to repeat itself. With that being said, I watched the movie yesterday, Black Girl 1972. And there's a lot I want to do with this. I'm also going to do a workshop about this movie. Well, not about the movie, but about the culture of Black people, Black girls, especially since I'm an advocate for victims of sexual violence. I looked at this movie, and like I said, I went through a caveat of emotions watching this movie yesterday. Because you saw jealousy, you saw manipulation, you saw lies, you saw gaslighting, you saw all these nice things that happen in our homes, and we don't pay attention to it. It's just now we're really bringing awareness in society about these issues that we face in our homes, behind closed doors with those that love us. And the thing is, when we correlate it with a spouse or a significant other, we say, do they really love us? But when it comes to a parent or a family member, do we ask that same question? I want to drop that right there. And I want those that listen to really think about that. Because me growing up in my home, I had no doubt that my mother didn't love me. Now, as I got older, and even now, my mother's deceased as of 2014, but there was a moment, and I can't lie to you, that I questioned if my mother loved me. I raised that question because there were things that I did not understand about her. And that's what happens in a lot of Black homes. Not just Black homes. There are many homes. There are many cultures that suffer the same way, but ours is more obvious. When your mother has been victim of rape, sexual abuse, childhood sexual traumas, domestic violence, left fighting and fending for her life, left being alone with the children, suffering infidelity, so many things that she dealt with. And we say have these conversations with your children. Can you imagine the difficulty of having these actual conversations with your child and telling them that your dad is abusive, your dad was this, your dad was that, but he loved me. Now here I am coping the best way I can, because my mother was also abandoned and abused and neglected and struggled with 11 children. And it's a vicious cycle, as we call them, generational curses that we go through. And we try to navigate through them to make a better place, not just for the world, not just for our children, but for ourselves. So with that being said, I'm going to end this with a poem. I'm not at the poem yet, but I'm going to end it with a poem because right now that's what I'm going to give you until I get this whole workshop worked out, because this is something that's pressing heavy on my spirit and I have to deal with it. And I'm also dealing with it because I dealt with something on yesterday when I went walking where I was called a NIGGA BITCH ass while crossing the street. This is 2023. These are things that we still face. Not everybody is that way. Not everybody feels that way. And I'm comfortable with that. I've learned to accept certain things because I can't change how people look at me, how they think of me, how they feel about me. But thank God I'm in a space in my life where I honestly really don't care. If it's not anything to build my character or help me or supply my needs, provide for my family or myself, it doesn't matter. And it took me a while to get to this space, and I value it. And I know part of my purpose now is to give back and to help others get to that space in their lives. So with that being said, watching Black Girl 1972, I pray that you go back and you watch the movie. All races, all ethnicities, everybody. Watch the movie. Try to see it through the eyes of someone that has lived and experienced that. The last part of the movie made me cry. I did a reel, Instagram reel this morning. Those that want to follow me on Instagram, it's Lavinia Masters. I did a reel this morning after I watched it yesterday. I put the ending on there. The mother was angry. She felt disappointed in her children. The words at the end shows you that the true disappointment was within herself because she felt like she was a failure. And because she was a failure, she said, I don't want Billie Jean to think I don't love her. I just worry that my children will end up being like me. Wow. That was hard to digest. Because that's exactly how my mother feels. And if we're honest, that's exactly how a lot of us felt and have allowed words to come out of our mouth when we say we did want our children to be like us or to have more than us or to do better. We are devaluing who we are. We are minimizing our skills, our thoughts, our beings when we do that sometimes, and we don't even realize it. So when you do that, what I realize, because I have been guilty of that, when as parents and mothers and grandparents and loved ones do that, yes, you always want your children to succeed and be greater, but sometimes it's hard to set honest expectations for them. So we get angry, we get frustrated, we think that they are failures, we think that they're not doing their best. Some of them are, but we really blame ourselves. And we shouldn't. We should do the best that we can to give back to them, to raise awareness with them, to share our cultural difficulties or things we had to face, our adversities that were given to us in life. Some things we could change, some things we could not. But learn to accept those things that was there. And so that was really heartbreaking to hear that in the movie as it brought back memory, because as a little girl, I was Black Girl 1972. So a lot of that I didn't really understand growing up. I didn't get the concept. I didn't understand the narrative. I just saw it as my Black people in movies. We got a movie, yay. That's what we saw. That's what we were distracted by. We got a movie. We're on the movie screen. We're going to be famous. But the reality was, they was giving the world a taste of our society, a taste of our world, a taste of our struggles. Not all Black people, like I said. I'm not putting us in a box. But what I'm saying, many of us or many of our ancestors lived in those boxes. Thank God many of us were fortunate to live beyond. Many of us ancestors, families were born in those boxes. But by the time you got here, you were able to get out of the box, or you fell out of the box. They were able to successfully push you out of the box. You found a way. Not everybody did. And some are still trapped and traumatized in pain and hurt from the traumatic experiences. It's like we were destined to be bound with trauma. I know we talk about trauma bonding a lot now. And it's real. But that unraveling, that uncasing, that unwinding it's a lot to it when you've been born in it. Because now you're trying to unravel your mother's trauma. You're trying to unravel your grandmother's trauma. You're trying to unravel your grandfather's, your aunties, everybody that had an effect, that had a purpose or a moment in your life, in your upbringing. Right? And then you have your own traumas. You have your own insecurities, your own uncertainties. Now, I've been raped. I've been sexually abused. I've been attempted raped. I've been drugged. I can even say attempted murder because he brought a weapon to school and said he was going to kill me. I broke up with him. Unhealthy relationship. I was just a sophomore in high school. So now I'm trying to navigate through life with all of this. And we have to be careful how we project those things on our children, our grandchildren, our loved ones. In the end, what really made me cry watching that movie is that she couldn't see the value in her own children because she never saw the value in her. She never knew her worth. Even when her ex tried to come back to her, she walked away. She said she didn't want the infidelity anymore, but he was trying to tell her, I've changed. I love you. We got 2 daughters. But she walked away. Was it because she really didn't trust him? Or was it because she didn't trust who she was? She didn't trust that she was capable of giving love, receiving love. She didn't deserve it. Is that how many of us are today? We feel we don't deserve to be loved. We don't deserve to be in a space where someone can appreciate just us just the way we are. We may not have the highest education, all the degrees. We may not have come from the background where our family was fortunate enough to be born with riches or wealth or just things to give and pass along. We some of us missed the whole thing of being raped and abused, never had the experience in their family dynamics. And maybe they don't know some of the family secrets. But this is what she suffered with. And that's the part that made me cry. Is that many of us don't know our worth. Many of us don't understand how precious we are, no matter what. No matter what our background is. No matter how we look. No matter what our skin color is. No matter what trauma we were brought up from. No matter what things occurred in our past or our family's past. We still hold a value. And we have to learn how to walk in our value. Show our value. Be proud of our value and who we are. That's why this whole self-love journey is a big thing. I know for me, it's not a bragging moment. Some people may see it as she's crashed, she did, she did. You know what? It doesn't matter. I'm showing love towards me. Because I was that one that struggled. I struggled with my worth. I I struggled with who I was. I struggled with my value. I felt less than because I was a Black woman. I felt like I didn't deserve to be here because of the color of my skin. I felt that I didn't deserve things because how my ancestors and my family was done, and I was being programmed to think that way. So I decreased myself. And I even asked myself, who do you think you are? Stay in your place. My place is in this world. My place is where God wants me to be. My place is where my voice is elevated. My place is where I want to be. I had to learn it. To learn it, I had to love me. I had to appreciate me. I had to appreciate that when I sweat, my hair curls up. I had to appreciate that if I stay out in the sun too long, I get a little bit dark. It irritates me. I had to appreciate that. This color of my skin. I had to appreciate that my voice may seem a little bit more hoarse than others. I had to appreciate that. That my eyes, I was born with brown eyes and red hair. I had to appreciate the pigmentation of my skin. I had to appreciate that I was raised in the hood and would take you back to the hood. I had to appreciate those things. That's who I am. That's where I come from. I understand the traumas and the trials and the tribulations that my family and my loved ones and my mothers and my fathers and everybody went through. Even me. But I had to understand that I can rise above that and I can bring my family with me in the generations of past and present and future. Because my past, I'm not going to hide it. It's not filthy. It's not nasty. Some of the things that happened were not right. But it's a legacy for me. Because it showed me what resilience really is. That they didn't want to give up on me. They showed me in a weird way that I couldn't fully understand what love was. But they were trying to protect me the best way they could from the evil and the cruelty that this world can show you. And you hate to see that. You don't want to talk about race. Nobody wants to talk about race. Just like nobody wants to talk about rape. But that's the reality of life. It happens. So we have to address these issues. And I address them because I embrace them. I embrace my race as a Black woman. And I embrace that I was raped as a Black woman. Because that's who I am. But I've done something with it. It's not who I am in a sense where, oh, I'm a broke down Black woman that's been raped. It's who I am as, yeah, I'm Black. Yes, I was raped and still I rise. Still I'm rising. And still I rose. And can't nothing keep me down but myself. You understand what I'm trying to share with you today? I'm trying to encourage you while I give you a message of hope. And I'm hoping that I can take the disparities and the traumas and the trials of a Black woman, a Black girl, 1972, and can apply them to your life, not only as a Black culture, but whatever your culture, whatever your race is, whatever things you're facing today. I need you to understand the message I'm trying to give you. And I'm going to end with my poem. I wrote this poem like an hour ago. Bear with me as I end with this poem. I'm going to end this video. And I promise you I'm going to develop a conference talk so you can book me, TheLaviniaMastersAct, and I'm going to come and share. It doesn't have to be just a Black crowd. It could be any crowd. I can cater to any conversations, any talks you need me to do when it comes to resilience, empowering, overcoming. That's me. Black girl 1972. Who do you think you are? Your mama was raped and your mama was abused. Yes, yet you want to be successful. Oh, how the world sees you as confused. Baby, you were born in trauma, so bonding is your middle name. How dare you expect to separate from a culture that's used to being plagued by hatred, poverty, discrimination? You ought to be ashamed. What makes you believe that if your mama didn't know her worth, that you bring value to this world? Yeah, your attitude, you're articulate and we hear your voice, but you still just a black girl. Remember how you cried all alone and no one saw who you really were? Think back to that society that treated you less than. How can you ever forget that they never really cared? Yet you want to go and shine and be free from the bondage of the trauma you were born into. You want to denounce poverty, hatred, and discrimination, and all your mother's pain. Go ahead, girl. I see you. You want to cause an uproar. You want to change the narrative. You believe as long as you know your worth, what everybody else thinks is not imperative. Okay, black girl of 1972, you may not be able to change the skin you're in or even the traumatic circumstances you were born into. And I doubt if you can go back and reverse the pain, the fears and struggles your mother endured as you lived your own life with your uncertainties filled with insecurity. Rest assured. But go ahead and embrace your culture. Go ahead and learn from your past. Keep rising to break free from all traumatic bondage. Keep shining even if they think you're crass. Keep lifting your voice as you absorb all your power. Keep fighting for others, especially in their darkest hours. So go ahead, black girl, and keep navigating, keep rising through your pain. Because even though the world's society and the system try to subtly break you, because they knew you had everything to gain. Excuse me. Look at you now. Black girl, you have arrived. You have reached your destiny called purpose. And under your circumstances, it can't be contrived. Black girl 1972, I don't know who you think you are, but I do know who you are. You are beyond this world, baby. You are a shooting star. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for following me. I am your host and advocate, Dr. Lavinia Masters. I wasn't trying to be fancy today. Everything was impromptu. I did that purposely because I want us to know that our talent, our skills, our voice, our light, our powers lies deep within us. And we have to be willing to go in, reach for them, and not be afraid to show them, to share them with the world. Never second guess who you are. Never second guess your worth. Never second guess your place in society, your space, the spaces that you are in. You're supposed to be there. You deserve it. You deserve that seat at the table, and you deserve to be served first. Don't be like me, because I questioned. I did. My worth, who I am, why I'm here, why I'm at the table. Why is God allowing this to happen for me? And I see now because I deserve it. I deserve it because I've learned to love me. I've learned to love others. I've learned to go back and love those that I thought hurt me and pains me, but they didn't have an understanding of trauma. They didn't have an understanding of the opportunity of healing themselves. And that is called compassion. And with compassion, you deserve every great thing that God allows to land in your lap. Black girl 1972, and every girl that knows She's worthy. Be blessed. Bye-bye.